I wake up in a cold sweat. I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling. Something is wrong. I get up to feed my dog Cassie and let her outside. As she does her business, I notice movement in the corner of my eye. I turn to see a tiny humanoid creature about the size of my pinky. It's running towards me from the porch. I panic and step on it as it gets closer. It splits into two smaller creatures, and they seem slightly disoriented before gaining composure. I don't know why, but I can sense an intimate danger from these tiny men. I feel strongly as they will somehow eat me. I call Cassie and run to the door with her. I open it and see my kitchen. As soon as my entire body crosses the door's threshold, I am outside again. Wait, what? I panic more. I try the door again. I'm outside again. I don't understand what's happening. The creatures are coming closer. Cassie whimpers, staying close to my side. As they near, I try the door one last time. This time, I made it inside. Cassie growls, and I suddenly feel movement on my legs. The creatures are climbing up my calves. Cassie jumps and attacks one, whipping it around in her mouth like it's one of her toys. She gags and coughs up two even smaller men. I scoop her up and we run to the bathroom. The smallest men easily crawl under the door. They suddenly multiply, and I'm overtaken. They shrink and crawl into my eyes, nibbling on my optic nerve. Everything goes black. I feel Cassie snuggle up to my side, and I accept my horrific fate. I have no more energy to try escaping. My last thought is a desperate hope that these creatures leave before my family comes home, and that they leave Cassie alone. I feel the creatures inside me, consuming like maggots. I wake up in a cold sweat. It was just a nightmare. Tiny men that can split into multiples and eat me from the inside out. I try to find humor in the absurdity of it all, but I still have a terrible feeling of dread. I get up to feed Cassie and let her out, still shaken from the intensely realistic nightmare. From the corner of my eye, I notice movement. I turn around slowly. This time, I see a normal-sized human coming out of his hiding spot with a crazed look of hunger in his eyes. He smiles. I panic. I woke up to my heart racing, my body sweating and paralyzed. I couldn't move or scream for help, no matter how hard I tried. I was trapped in my own body, unable to escape the terror that was taking over my senses. As I lay there, helpless and terrified, I saw him. A creepy, pale man with long black hair, jet black eyes, and a sinister smile that revealed razor-sharp teeth. He was dressed in a black suit and a top hat, hovering just inches away from my face, staring at me with an unblinking gaze. I tried to will myself to move, to escape this nightmare, but it was no use. I was trapped in a state of sleep paralysis, unable to do anything but lay there and wait for this monster to do God knows what to me. The man reached out his hand, his long, bony fingers and sharp black nails, hovering inches away from my throat. I could feel his breath on my skin, the stench of death emanating from his mouth. I closed my eyes and prayed for it to be over, for this nightmare to end, but it didn't. Instead, the man leaned in closer, his sharp teeth bared and his black eyes glinting with malice. He wrapped his hand around my throat and began to choke me, cutting off my ability to breathe. Then he spoke, his voice low and guttural, filled with the kind of evil that can only come from the depths of hell itself. You cannot escape me. I am the keeper of your nightmares, and I will haunt you until the end of time. And with that, he vanished into the darkness, leaving me alone in the cold embrace of sleep paralysis, haunted by the memory of his twisted face and the sound of his guttural voice. I knew then that I would never be able to truly escape him, and that he would always be there, waiting in the shadows to claim me once again. This story takes place when I was about 8 years old. I was afraid of the dark, so I slept on the couch near my dad's bed. My mom wouldn't be home until around 11 p.m., so I would always sleep near my dad. I was on his iPad watching YouTube to fall asleep when I suddenly heard an Amber Alert go off on his phone. I have a horrible fear of this noise, and it causes me to have panic attacks. Because of this, I turned off the iPad and hid under my blanket. I laid there like that for a good 5 minutes until I heard the door upstairs open. I heard my mother's voice call out, "I'm home." A wave of relief washed over me. I got up from the covers and ran upstairs. There were a few lights on, so I felt pretty safe. I didn't see my mom, so I assumed she was going to the bathroom. I went in my room and crawled into my bed, ready to fall asleep. My room door was open just a few inches. I waited and waited for my mother to come and say goodnight to me. Suddenly, I saw a horrifying face emerge from the crack of my bedroom door. His face was like leather. It was so torn up and scary to look at. I could never get the image out of my head. He just looked at me. I closed my eyes and pretended to be asleep, while I was still keeping my eyes slightly open to see him. He just stood there, peering into my room. I was frozen. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, nothing. After what felt like hours, he slowly disappeared from view. I fully opened my eyes and started shaking. I was about to start crying until I heard my mother open the door. I waited until I saw her come through and gave her a big hug. In my 8-year-old mind, I still thought that figure watching me could have been my mother. I asked her why she was staring at me from the door. What she said next still haunts me to this day. "What are you talking about, sweetie? I just got home." Hello everyone, Leiden here. Thanks for watching. This video took longer to make as I was dealing with a lot of IRL issues at once. I've managed to straighten things out and your support kept me motivated. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to these authors for allowing me to narrate their stories. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like or comment down below. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one.